Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is Paddock Live, and joining me is my old mucker from the full-time Devils days, no less. Gaz Drinkwater. How are we doing, brother?
I'm all good, man. When you say the full-time Devils days, I'm always thinking it was like 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't, was it? Well, it was about 10 years ago, was it?
It was. You know what we had on the other day? Webby. We need to get me, you, and Webby on together.
Webby makes me piss.
Crying. I was crying the other week, and we had some good times in that radio studio, didn't we? Doing the phone in. Yes, Uncle Webby will be back on the channel very soon. We've got Gaz with us. We're going to be going through all the stories, so make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe, and get involved in the comments and the chat, because there's a lot going on at United, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to mollycoddle you. Mollycoddle. Is that the word?
Don't know what it means.
What is that?
What's molly and what's she been coddling?
Yeah, coddle. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, right? It's pretty much doom and gloom at the minute at our football club. But the good news is, you think this is bad, wait till we lose to Brighton. That'll be bad. Anyway, we'll get into it. We're going to be talking about Maguire, Sancho, Onana, Murta, Arnold, everything else. So make sure you are getting involved in the chat. We'll start off with Harry Maguire. Gaz, you're the reader extraordinaire. You're like our proper news reader on this channel. Hit me with it.
So, all about Harry Maguire. I'm a big fan of that when Gary defended Harry. Excellent, excellent. Gareth Southgate stuck up for Harry Maguire after that own goal against Scotland. He said, our fans recognise that there might be a bit of heat from our own supporters, but we're not having it from others getting into him. It's a joke. I've never known a player treated the way he is, not just by Scottish fans, but by commentators, pundits, whatever. They've created something beyond anything I've ever seen. He's been a stalwart for us, part of the most successful England team for decades. He's been a key part of that. I've spoken about the importance of the senior players. He is crucial to that.
Well done, Gaz. Perfect reading.
I told you I could read.
Yeah, you did, and I doubted you.
Yeah.
And I apologise, and I stand corrected because
I'm not skip rap.
I can't read. You're not skip rap. Yeah. If you know, you know. Yeah. I can't read, but it looks right to me.
Yeah.
What do you make of the treatment Harry Maguire has been getting? Because there's two sides to this, like most stories. There's the one hand, he's a multi-millionaire footballer, paid a lot of money, who hasn't been performing at the levels he should have. So fans are entitled to voice their opinion on him, even if that opinion is somewhat, ridiculing him and booing him or whatever. That's their they're allowed to do that. They can do that. The flip side to it is, he's going through it. He's getting it from all sides. He doesn't want to play badly. He doesn't want to make mistakes. He's just suffering from a lack of confidence, maybe even a bit of bad luck. Dare we say it? And he's trying his best to get out of it, and he's just getting it from everywhere. Where do you sit on this?
I can see both sides.
Okay.
Starting with the fact that Gareth Southgate should never put him in this position in the first place. Harry Maguire is a player who hasn't played enough for Manchester United this season.
Yeah.
I don't think to warrant a place in the England squad.
Okay.
But he's got that place, and Gareth Southgate knows the amount of pressure that he's under at the moment from fans around the world, because that is what Harry Maguire has become. He's become an easy target for people who, quite frankly, don't know much about football. Yeah. Plenty of players have had this in the past. A current example is Kai Havertz, for example. He's just the running joke now, and people will happily pile in on him.
Yeah.
Remember Emil Heskey? He was the first one that I remember from the social media generation that sort of became like you were in the school playground, you missed a shot, and it was like, oh, you're Heskey.
Yeah.
And then all the kids would jump in on it, kids who don't really watch football that much. And I think that he has become that sort of meme figure right now, whereas he doesn't warrant a lot of the stick that he's getting. The cheers from opposition fans, for me, that's just embarrassing. And I almost think it's setting yourself up to fail a little bit, because what if you cheer Harry Maguire and then he goes and scores from a corner or something like that? His performances haven't been good enough for Man United when he has played last season, but this season we've barely seen him. You can't criticise the guy for anything he's done this season.
Arsenal game weren't his fault, was it?
No,
I know he ended up on the pitch, but people go, he's Declan Rice or whatever. Yeah, I'm not blaming Harry Maguire for that.
But I see the other side of it as well, right? Harry Maguire, in the summer, probably had the chance to leave Man United.
Should have left United, really,
and
shouldn't he?
The only reason I can think, and this I might be talking rubbish here, I don't know Harry Maguire, I don't know what's happened behind the scenes. The only reason I can think is that nowhere else would pay the wages that he wanted.
So he didn't want to take a pay cut.
So at the end of the day, well, you're at Man United now. You've got to have the mentality to deal with that, because there's the other side of it as well, where plenty of players have got stick like this before. It's kind of part and parcel of being a footballer. You use it to spur yourself on.
Yeah.
If you hear opposition fans cheering you when you come on the pitch, you think, right, I'm going to prove these wrong. And I don't think he has that. I think we've seen in the past in difficult away atmospheres, he particularly struggles, and that's fine. It's just not fine for Man United.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for the guy because he shouldn't be in the position that he's in. But I tell you what, Old Trafford at the weekend, because he probably will play, he will get the biggest cheer.
You've took the words right out of my mouth, because United fans have formed for this. When a player's getting stick from rivals, when he goes away on international duty and gets grief, United fans usually rally round him. They've done it with Maguire before when he went away with England, got a bit of abuse, came back, got behind him. We've seen it. I think Pogba had it once where he went away and was getting some stick. Fans got him some stick on social media, and I think fans got behind him. United fans tend to back players, especially as most United fans don't give a toss what he does for England, especially in a friendly against Scotland. Who cares? I don't. I couldn't care less. So he'll come back, and I think there will be this sense of, you know what, I know it's not the same, but a lot of United fans will remember the effigies of Beckham, the dartboard of Beckham, the Phil Neville getting death threats.
Rooney
getting booed. Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford getting racially abused for missing a penalty. I could go on, but I won't. So they'll think, you know what, he's our player, we'll back him. But Maguire will get that backing from United fans for so long. I think if he plays against Brighton as a stinker, then that good grace is going to evaporate.
No. But at the end of the day, look, there's a difference between criticism and abuse.
Yeah.
Can we get this right? And can we also remember that everyone looks at these footballers like they put them on a pedestal. They're young lads. A lot of these lads, and I don't know if it's the case for Harry Maguire, but a lot of these lads are from working class backgrounds. A lot of these lads are like a lot of the people that watch them.
Yeah.
You don't, just because they're paid so much money, doesn't mean they're not human anymore.
No.
Let's draw a line where there's criticism and there's abuse. You know what I mean? And you criticise Harry Maguire all you want. If he's wearing a red shirt, I will support him no matter what.
I always think with Harry Maguire as well, I don't think there's questions about his professionalism. I don't think he don't put the effort in.
You're right.
I think there's question marks about his ability and maybe his confidence and whether he's got that swagger, if he could, for want of a better word, to play for Manchester United and be a top player at Manchester United. I know he had a very good sort of 18 months when he first came, but he fell off a cliff. So I get that argument, but the one point I will say about Maguire is you don't hear him sort of falling out with managers or not training properly or anything like that, and that's not a dig at Sancho before anyone starts. This is someone who gets on with it, and is, you know, when he's available and when he can be picked, he will get picked. He's not like someone that the manager's fallen out with. I just don't think he's good enough. But yeah, hopefully he can get back to the levels we saw a little while ago. Because whilst he's at United, I want him to play well if he's playing. I don't want him to play badly for United. So I'll be at Old Trafford on Saturday and I'll be getting behind him if he plays for United against Brighton. Let us know what you think in the comments. Get involved. Daniel Berry says Maguire is another player we sign like Sancho, who he says he's mentally weak, doesn't have anything to prove or something. Sorry. So I think won't be getting backing from me, says Tom Mills.
He won't be getting
crap. Yeah.
So what? Right? No. Well, that's just garbage.
Go on.
Well, so what are you saying, that if United had a load of crap players, you wouldn't back him? Yeah. Well, so if United had a load of crap players and went to the Championship, let's imagine United got relegated, would you stop supporting Man United? If that's the case, you're not a Man United fan. I'm sorry, it's one thing having standards, it's another thing saying I won't support someone because they're not very good. Spoiled, entitled.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you say you can criticise a player if you think his performances aren't good enough. I've done it many a time where I've said he's not good enough, or I don't think he's got the levels that you need for Manchester United, or that was a bad performance. We do it on the review after the game. I'm not going to say, we're not MUFC. If we're here in the studio, someone's played badly, I'll say they played badly. I won't say everyone was fantastic. I'm not, being paid by the club. But when I'm at the game especially, we'll get behind the team and I'll get behind him on Saturday. Let's move on anyway. What's next? Man United carnage. Go on, what have we got here for?
Go on then. Murtough. Not as good as the last one, to be fair. John Murtough's been tasked to find a solution between Ten Hag and Sancho. Sancho found himself in hot water after accusing Ten Hag of lying over the reasons for his absence from United's squad against Arsenal. The outburst was said to have infuriated Ten Hag, and Murtough has since been dragged into the saga in an attempt to find a speedy resolution. It is said that Richard Arnold has directed Murtough to intervene with the aim of solving the issues between Ten Hag and Sancho. There is said to be no sign that either party will drop their grievances as things stand. That's the Express and the Mail.
Thank you. Did we take this picture using a Kodak disposable camera?
That's on a potato.
Or is it taken underwater?
He's actually just naturally a blurry man.
Oh, is he a blurry man? Hey, anyone want to weigh in here? Production team? There's not many Murtaugh pictures. There you go. All right, I'll let you off. Do you know what? I have a bit of an issue with John Murtaugh. I ain't going to lie to you.
Which issue?
I just think the guy's overrated. Like...
Oh, yeah, all the Murtaugh fans.
No, but you know, like when we signed Mount, and I've seen loads of people hyping it up going, oh, he did really well, we got him for 60 million, Doug Ariels, and I think he's got a year left on his contract. He wanted to leave. They've got 18 midfielders. £60 million for a player who's just had a stinker of a season isn't the bargain that it's being portrayed, but it's obviously in briefing the press about how wonderful he was and how we've changed our attitude towards signings. Have we? Isn't Christian Eriksen the wrong side of 30? Didn't we give him a 4-year deal? Mm-hmm. A man who literally died on a football pitch not long ago. So have we changed that much? Didn't we just sign Andre Onana for quite a lot of money, considering he was on a free not long ago? I still think United are doing what we used to do. We paid €100 million for Anthony. When we linked with him for 30 million 2 months before we paid that. Casemiro's 30 and we paid 70 million and put him on a 4-year deal or a 3-year deal. So I don't get into this idea that Murtaugh has changed that much at United or he's doing a fantastic job. I know not everyone's saying he is, but I do hear that argument from a lot of people and I think, where are you getting that from? Where's the Alvarez that City bought or the bargain or the Casado before he cost 100 million? Where are you getting that one where you go, I've got an 18-year-old Erling Haaland here or I know they don't grow on trees, but apparently did get offered him. But where's the one where you go, great bit of business for Man United that? Can you name me one player recently, since Murtaugh's come in, where you go, fantastic bit of business that, what a snip.
I'm thinking.
Even our free transfer, Eriksen was a long-term contract for a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. I just don't think anything's changed.
Do you know what I say the only thing that's changed is, I will say that like during the Woodward era, it felt like a lot of the signings weren't necessarily signings that the manager at the time wanted. And I feel like maybe, I don't know any of this.
I agree with that.
But I feel like maybe there were certain people, and this will fall on Woodward, stepped in and were like, well, commercial reasons mean we need to sign that player. This player will sell us loads of shirts. Where I've got to say one thing about Murtaugh is that we're signing Ten Hag players clearly because they've all played in the bloody Eredivisie or a Dutch. Like it's quite clearly Ten Hag's scouting list, isn't it? I don't know what the scouting team do. When it comes to getting good fees for players and getting players on the cheap, he's not really done.
I mean, there was a whole flying over to meet Adrian Rabiot's mum. There was a bit where we're going to get Arnautovic. I still feel a little bit like we're all over the gaff. Do you know what I mean? I don't really see. I think it's still a bit. We throw a lot of money at players that, we get them basically for what you'd expect to get them for. I don't think there's ever been one where I've gone, do you know what I mean? The biggest bargain we've had is probably Tyrell Malacia, who's a good backup left back. Do you know what I mean? We got quite cheap.
He's a £12 million player.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not like you go, I can't, it's amazing. I just think that's quite a good deal because I think you don't get many players who can do anything for €12 million nowadays. But again, that was the manager who led that one, wasn't it? I don't think John Murtaugh was going on knocking on Erik Ten Hag's door going, there's a kid from Final called Tyrell Malacia, you should go and check him out. And he's going, who? Never heard of him.
Of course not.
Trust me, get him. So yeah, and am I being asked? Let me know what you think. Someone else has said Malacia. Robert said Malacia twice. BMGDBFC says, yes, Jay, it's called mismanagement since Gill left. David Harrington says, Johnny Evans wasn't good enough 10 years ago, so we bring him back when he's even worse. We are pathetic. Right, okay. Tom Mills says, Fergie knew what he wanted and he got the players he wanted and he turned them into great players. Sadly, it hasn't been the same. Dan United 94 says, John is getting away with Murtaugh. Nice
Very
one.
Good.
Nice one.
That's better than that.
Just quickly, guys, what do you make of this whole Sancho episode? Summed it up beautifully.
It really did. But it's another one, isn't it, where I feel like everyone nowadays are always extreme one side of the argument, extreme the other side of the argument, and sometimes the truth can be somewhere in the middle. Look, Ten Hag has been harsh on players publicly in the past. He did it with Rashford, he did it obviously with Ronaldo, and Rashford in particular obviously responded exactly the right way. When he was late for a team meeting, I think it was. We were late
45 seconds later.
Yeah, a little bit late.
Athletic.
You know what I mean? Got dropped, man. Guy got dropped
Top
because
scorer
of that.
got
He
dropped.
could have come out and kicked off royally because of that. He didn't. He got his head down. He realised these are the standards of this club. Jadon Sancho, we don't know what's happened behind the scenes. Ten Hag is coming out and saying he's not training properly. That's why he's not in the team. I don't know if he's not training properly. If he's not training properly, then 100% Ten Hag is well within his rights to do that and expect more of a player as talented as Jadon Sancho and a player that he's given enough leeway to as Jadon Sancho. Look what happened last season. How many players would get away with going for a 2-month break to get themselves sorted?
Unheard of.
The other side of it is what Jadon Sancho said in his statement, and he said, I think he's deleted that now.
Yeah, he deleted it last night.
But before that, it was just pinned on his Twitter, which I found mad.
Jadon
Sancho said in the statement, though, he said, there are things that I can't talk about right now, and I want to talk about. Who knows what's going on in that young man's head? You just don't know, man. You don't know. We've all had crap happen to us in life, and it's affected every other aspect of our life, our work, and everything like that. And he might just be going through one of those periods, and he might not have had the support from Ten Hag that he thinks a man in his position should have. That might be the case as well. I don't know what the truth is. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, there was an interesting article by Laurie Whitwell and Dan Sheldon in The Athletic today, and it doesn't paint a great picture of Jadon Sancho's time at United in terms of his attitude, in terms of his training, and even going back to Dortmund. And I'm going to keep going on about this. There was a line in it about his time at Dortmund, which was so depressing, it made me want to cry. And it was basically that the Dortmund caretaker manager paired Sancho up with Erling Haaland in terms of training, in terms of rooming with him, because he hoped Haaland's professionalism would rub off on Sancho. And you read that and you think, man, come on. Do you know what I mean? And that's Erling Haaland who's now gone to say and smashed it, and Sancho's come to United. And for me, so far in a United shirt, it's flat to deceive. I hope he turns it around. I hope the manager and him can sort of sort it out. But I think Jadon Sancho's on borrowed time. I think when you pin a tweet like that, pushing back against your manager, who's already giving you, like you say, your own little training regime in the Netherlands to get you well, who's obviously questioned you in training as well, something's not right there, then you're pinning your tweet, pushing back on it, then you're deleting it when obviously the world's already read it. I think the relationship's pretty untenable. Let me know what you think anyway. I know we're sick of talking about it. Luca Brazzi said Sancho had one good season at Dortmund. BMGDBFC says they had to tell him the meeting time was an hour earlier and he was still late. Yeah, one of the Athletic claims was that Ten Hag had this system of getting Jadon Sancho to come in or telling him things were starting an hour earlier than they were because he was always late. I don't know how that works, to be honest.
But look, if that's the case, by the way, we've all got a mate like that, haven't we?
Yeah.
You tell them to come an hour earlier just so they arrive on time.
Yeah.
But look, if that's the case, if that's 100% true, then Ten Hag probably was right to do what he did. Because let's face it, Ten Hag wasn't exactly scathing. He said he wasn't training properly this week.
Ten Hag doesn't want to put himself in a position where he's losing Jadon Sancho. I think Ten Hag would like to get the best out of Jadon Sancho and like to see him help him win football matches. Do you know what I mean? Ten Hag, for me, has already lost Mason Greenwood. I think Ten Hag thought he was going to have Mason Greenwood this season. I'm sorry. I don't believe the manager didn't know that or didn't expect him to be playing for us this season. I think you saw all those stories being leaked. There was no way that it was like there was nothing in it, and there was no way. We spoke to Jamie Jackson, we saw Adam Crafton, what he was doing, the work he was doing behind the scenes there on that story. It was obvious United were ready to bring Mason Greenwood back. I think the manager had to sign off on that. So he's not got him. Jadon Sancho is a player that cost a lot of money. You know what he did at Dortmund. You saw his numbers that were like a goal involvement every game. A player that we could have used, a player that Ten Hag probably needs. I just don't like it. It seems a little bizarre to me that Ten Hag will just go, nah, I can't be dealing with you. I think he was trying to get a reaction out of him, not the reaction he got.
No.
And bringing in John Murtagh, what's he going to do?
But that's it. That's another interesting point there. When you said Ten Hag then about like maybe he did it to get a reaction out of him.
As in a good one.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, and there are plenty of players that would have worked with. Sancho clearly isn't that player.
Yeah.
Like he was clearly sent away last season. I don't know what his issues were, but he's clearly a sensitive dude.
Yeah.
And this was the thing with Fergie, wasn't it, back in the day? Like he treated different players in different ways because he knew how to get the best of him. And this might just be an example of Ten Hag. He might be well within his rights. Everything he said about Sancho might be true. It might not be great man management, though.
No.
It really might not be.
That. I mean, I don't think any good's come of it.
No,
to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I mean, that's with the benefit of hindsight. And maybe he was a little bit naive. I don't know. I think Ten Hag did that and thought, this is your opportunity now to rise to the occasion. Sancho's seen it another way and just obviously pushed back. I just think the relationship between Erik Ten Hag and Jadon Sancho, I just don't see how it can move forward. But I hope I'm wrong. Let's move on with the stories anyway, because I'm sure we're all sick of talking about Jadon Sancho. Talk us through this one. There's a sight for sore eyes.
Here we are, Cameroon Saloon, big fan of that. Onana set for showdown talks with Ten Hag over returning to international duty. Andre Onana came out of international retirement to help Cameroon qualify for January's Africa Cup of Nations. 3-0 victory over Burundi. That was on Tuesday. Onana joined United from Inter Milan in the summer. He had basically retired from international football at that point and told Ten Hag they had no intention of returning with Cameroon now through to the Africa Cup of Nations next January. Ten Hag will want to know if Onana plans to represent his country at the month-long tournament. That's according to David McDonnell in the Mirror.
It's not very often you see ostensibly in a footballing
Yeah, well, I skipped over ostensibly.
I know you did. I'm glad you did. I love that little bit of editing.
I don't know what that word means.
It means basically on the surface.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, you know, on the surface it's like he's retired, but has he really? Right. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, this is just typical, isn't it? We buy him and he's going, are you going to play for your country? Nah, I'm done with all that. Don't you worry. I ain't playing for Cameroon anymore. Come January, I'm going to be here, bro. You've got me. And then, actually, I'm having it. That's what's going to happen, innit?
You know what? I don't blame Andre Onana for this at all.
I don't blame anyone for wanting to play for the country.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
You sign a player, and even if he's had, you know, because he had a falling out, it was the manager, I think.
Didn't the manager tell him to stop playing out from the back so he went home?
Yeah.
Like from the World Cup? He said, you can fuck off, I'm going home. Right.
Toys out, bro.
Yeah. He's like, the guy's like, what? Yeah, stick your World Cup and stick your team up your ass.
Stick the left back in
there. Yeah, go on. Good luck with that.
But look, it's one of those things where, unless he signs something at Man United when he arrives at United to say, I'm going to be free in January, I'm not going to be playing in January, surely you expect him to return to his national team. He's in his prime. He wants to play for his country at the continent's biggest competition, the Africa Cup of Nations. Probably have a chance of winning it.
I don't begrudge players this. I didn't begrudge it when Rashford postponed his operation to play in the Euros. I know people are having a go at him, but I said it's a short career. People go, tournaments come round again, and I always go back to Theo Walcott, right? And this sounds crazy, but Theo Walcott went to the World Cup when he was 17. Didn't kick a ball in that tournament. Never went to another tournament. Now, when he was 17, he probably thought he had another 4 or 5 tournaments left in him. Didn't happen for him. You never know what's going to happen in football. If you've got an opportunity to play for your country at a major tournament, I don't blame you for taking it, even if it does come at the detriment of Manchester United. I get it. So if he's decided, right, listen, I'm going to go back to playing for Cameroon, then you can't begrudge him that. I don't think so anyway. Get involved in the comments and the chat and let me know. We are going to miss him because I think you've already seen what he's about.
Yeah.
Joe C says, Erik Ten Hag seems to give players just enough rope to see if they hang themselves. He called out Sancho to see his reaction. And Sancho shot himself in the foot. I like that. A little bit of mixed metaphors there. He's not hanging himself. He's shooting himself in the foot. Also, Fred Fox says, would Ten Hag have brought him if he knew this? Yeah.
Of course he would.
Of course he would have. I think he might have had a sneaky suspicion this was going to happen. Yeah. And also, if you're buying someone on, a 4-year deal or whatever he's on, he's here for quite a while and he's only mid-20s into the kid. So I don't think he'd have been massively put off by the prospects of losing him for a month.
And by the way, if these showdown talks, it's Ten Hag telling Onana, I'm disappointed in you for doing this, I think Ten Hag's out of order there. I'm not saying that's what's happened. It's probably not. But if Ten Hag tries to tell a player not to represent their country,
I don't know. If Andre Onana is off his head enough to storm off from the World Cup just because his manager asked him, can you not play out from the back for a bit? Then I wouldn't question him going to play for Cameroon. If he came into my office and said, boss, I'm going to play for Cameroon and the African Cup of Nations, I'd say, good luck, brother.
Play for anyone you want.
Yeah, you do what you want to do.
Yugoslavia if you want.
Yeah,
to do what you want.
I look forward to having you back when you're ready. So, yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. But like we said, Andre Onana, he's only just got here and there's already some drama with him.
He's important. He's so important.
He is. But we brought in this other kid, didn't we? Because the Turkish goalkeeper, whose name, Bayındır, thank you, got me out of jail there.
I might not be pronouncing that right.
No, I'll say Bayındır. So he can presumably come in for a month. We'll see. But there's Tom Eaton, yeah? Don't worry.
We're
fine.
And I don't know, I've never watched Altay Bayındır play. I don't know what type of player he is at all. Never seen a minute of him. But all I know is we spoke to a Turkish journalist around the time that he signed at Man United. Because he was saying all the fans are glad to get rid of him because he's naff. Now, he might be talking rubbish, but that's what he said. Right. Might be wrong.
let me just question that. Let me just push back on that, right? Yeah?
What are you going to tell me now that he was an unbelievable player? I don't think he smashed it too much in the Turkish league, or you're going to tell me he did?
Turkish caps, yeah. So
right, okay.
Tell your mate. Also, he's won the second league, and he's won the Turkish Cup, so there you go. That's proven.
Yeah,
nothing.
That's him.
Well, he can't be that bad if he's got 6 international caps for Turkey. Surely he's got to be half decent. I hope so, anyway. Anyway, let's move on. Right,
I hope he's wrong.
Yeah, I hope this Turkish journalist is wrong, even though I've never seen his kid play.
Here we are. This is the real quiz, isn't it, Jay? Man United are top of the league.
Woohoo!
This is what we've all wanted. Forget the Premier League and Champions Leagues and all that. We don't need that. United have spent more money on assembling their current squad than any other club. A new report from the CIES. I don't know what it stands for.
What's this stand for?
CIES, Football Observatory. Basically,
I know it's CIES, Football Observatory. What does CIES stand for, do we know? Right,
anyway, they have revealed that the current crop of players at Old Trafford have cost a world-topping £991.7 million. Let's just say a billion. Edging the £977.9 million spent by Premier League rivals Chelsea. Manchester City third. Their squad was 898.5. PSG 862.3. I won't go through all of them. You can see them there. But basically, United are top. We're annoying, aren't we, as a football club?
Hey, top of the CIS Football Observatory League. You'll never sing that.
Come on.
Yeah, the CIES stands for Centre International d'Etudes de Sport. It's French, I believe.
I'm glad you clarified.
International Centre
for
Sport Studies. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is a pretty sad indictment of where we've ended up in it. We are top of the spenders, and we probably need at least another 4 players before we're going to win a title. But apart from that, everything's rosy at Manchester United.
At least we made all the money that we spent, though, eh?
Net spend. Don't talk about spend. Talk about net spend.
Wow, retro. Wow.
Retro fan cams on the old Arsenal fan TV. I mean, some of these are a bit surprising, aren't they? West Ham being in this mix with 435 million. I didn't see that one coming. Listen, United spend a lot of money. We've always spent money. Post-Fergie, we've wasted a lot of money. We still need to spend money because we're so far behind Manchester City. We're not going to catch them by just promoting players out of the academy and hoping for the best. We are going to have to keep spending. I think we need to go again next summer. So I expect that to keep moving up. And it's just the way the football's gone as well. And the difference between us and some of the other clubs on there is Manchester United generate a lot of money. We're the biggest club in the world, or one of the biggest clubs in the world. So, yeah, it's not that surprising. I just hope we start spending money a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. I will say another difference is look at the players like City have signed, for example, and look how much they've signed them for. There might be reasons behind that, which we won't go into. But Manchester United, it's down to what we were talking about before. It's the amount of money we spend on specific players. We're always overpaying, and we're always underselling. Look at some of our youth academy graduates that have gone for pennies. Yeah. Zidane Iqbal, what was that?
About 200, was it about $500,000 or $1 million maybe?
Cole Palmer left Manchester City for £40 million.
Oh, no.
Cole Palmer is not a £40 million player.
There was the kid as well, was it James Trafford?
Yeah.
He went to Burnley, and he's never kicked a ball or saved a shot in the Premier League. I think he's in 19, 20. Yeah. And he went to Burnley for 90 million, whatever it is. I think the problem is, when you're a successful team or a successful club, your fringe players are highly rated. United used to have this years ago, when we'd have players and, clubs, like, players would go from the fringes of our team and they'd go to other Premier League teams, and do you know what I mean? They'd come in and they'd spend money on them, and you'd see them go there. And a lot of the time, they wouldn't do that much. They'd do okay, you know what I mean? Like, they'd be good, decent Premier League players, but it wouldn't be players that go and help another team win the league or whatever. And I think City are in that stage now, because it's like when Zinchenko and Jesus went to Arsenal, people are going, oh, Pep's drops him, he's drops a rival now, let him go there. I think he knows what he's doing, unfortunately. And it's like, they both did all right there, but it's not like City needed them.
They didn't win the league, did they? So?
No, City can happily lose those players and put the money in elsewhere. And I think that's where we're at the minute, and United are just playing a little bit of catch-up. But signing, younger players is a step in the right direction for me. The problem we've had when we've spent a lot of this money is we spent it on players coming towards the end of the career, haven't we? And we're still in a little bit of that now when we look at likes of Casemiro and one or two other players.
Casemiro. It's great. Casemiro's brilliant. Has he got much longer after this season?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Then you're looking to replace him.
Yeah.
But you look at Mount, he's only 24. You look at Højlund, I think he's 20. Those are the types of ages at least you ought to be spending money on it, though we have spent a lot of money on these players. So hopefully we'll start seeing a bit of an improvement in that front in the next few years. Who knows? Loads of people in the chat. Don't forget, if you're not done already, to hit like and give us a subscribe. David Harrington says Chelsea have spent 900 million in 1 year and we are still top. Murtagh madness. Dan United 94 says Jay, best flavour of crisps. I like prawn cocktail. What's yours?
Oh no, mine's a very boring answer. Actually, no, any cheesy crisps.
Yeah.
But then other than that,
and that?
yeah, but cheese and onion would be what I'd go for if I was picking like classic water.
Cheese and onion?
Yeah,
no.
It's boring, isn't it?
Cheese and onion and a nice glass of water.
Oh,
right.
Not plain, is it? Do you know who likes plain crisps? Cats.
Cats?
Cats like plain crisps.
Can you give cats crisps?
Yeah, they like plain crisps, but the only flavour of crisp they like.
What, is that like universal?
Yeah.
All cats?
It used to be graffitied on a bridge that I used to go over in Altrincham. It just said on the side of it, cats like plain crisps.
Really?
True story.
So, I mean, I'm not questioning the graffiti.
If you've got a cat, get your plain crisps
Was
out
that
now.
scientifically sound?
I tried it. My cat used to love plain crisps. Wouldn't go near a prawn cocktail. No way.
Okay, there you go. Sage advice on the bridge in Altrincham. Do you know what I mean?
Knowledge.
What more do you need?
Said some other stuff on the bridge, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, we don't. I saw a marriage proposal graffitied on a bridge once.
Oh, that's rough, innit?
I know. Imagine how many fights there were at that wedding. If that's how you're proposing to your missus. Babe, come on, come in the car. I just want to drive past this bridge and show you something. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tracy, marry me from Daddy. Like, whatever it was.
It's like they used to put it on the roundabout near Timperley Village. You used to have people put marriage proposals there, and I was like, can you imagine that? Oh, well, how did he propose? Oh, on the roundabout near Shaftesbury Avenue.
Why don't you just write a note and tie it to a brick and throw it through a window if you're going to do that?
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's the best way to propose. Let's move on swiftly anyway. We've gone from the world's most expensive squad to... yeah, go on. I'll give you this one. I'm going to give it you. Yeah.
Right. So United have agreed a new deal for the new shirt. What does that say? Qualcomm.
Qualcomm in the middle.
Qualcomm.
I like it. I like it.
I tell you what, brilliant. So new deal for new shirt sponsor. United have agreed a new deal with US technology company Qualcomm. Never heard of him. It will see its Snapdragon brand replace the TeamViewer logo as their shirt sponsor from next season. Premier League club has said. The club did not reveal the financial details of the deal, but a source has told ESPN the deal is worth £60 million per year. Snapdragon will become Man United's front of shirt sponsor from the start of the 24-25 season. I don't know anything about how much they're paying us or how much I don't get how this stuff works. I'm not going to pretend to do. What I do know is the logo does look quite cool. Yeah. And it's sort of, I saw someone on Twitter say yesterday actually, it gives like 2005 Vodafone vibes like we used to have on the front of the shirt.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's all I'm asked about, to be honest.
When you think of that shirt, who do you think of?
Oh, the Vodafone Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Weird, here's another one. Rossi.
I have Veron as well.
And Rooney though, because of the rip in the shirt. I'm picturing that as well.
Alexi, who do you think of when you think of that shirt? Van Nistelrooy, yeah, Van Nistelrooy.
I'm just thinking of these players.
Keno
now.
as well is another one. We've got him on one of our pictures there.
See, I picked when I had that. Sorry, I know you can't see this. No, that picture of Roy Keane now, is it 2002? That shirt?
I think so.
See, for me, all I'm picturing is a 2005 one with the white strips on the shoulders.
Loads of people. Good vibes. John says Park. There's a surprise. He loves G-Sun Park, doesn't he? John Shin.
Oh, yeah, I love John Shin.
John Shin is ace.
I love him.
If you don't like John Shin, don't bother coming on this
Is he
channel.
watching now?
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Oh, John, I need to apologise to you right now. I was going to drop him a DM about this.
Go on.
But he's a massive fan of Heung-min Son, of course. I've seen him tweeting about him as well. And I met Heung-min Son recently. We did a little interview after the Tottenham game.
Did you?
And I genuinely, at the end of it, was just like, I so wanted to say, like, can you give a message to my mate John Shin?
Yeah.
But he like shot off as soon as he did the interview, and I was like,
mate.
I shouldn't have even said that, John, because I know that's annoying, but oh well.
John, last time I checked, you United fan, what you liking Spurs players for anyway? Yeah. Especially Spurs players who play well against us. What's the matter with you? Call yourself a United fan, sat there in your United top, bragging about how you've been, do you know what I mean, plastered all over everywhere by the club because you're the new face of Manchester United and you're bigging up Heung-min Son. You're a disgrace.
Don't mention socks and John in the same sentence. We don't talk about underwear and John Shin in the same sentence, do we?
He's talking about the greatest video ever.
The greatest video ever.
It will never be beaten. That is my favourite moment in history. Loads of people laughing. Some people saying Keane. Hateful says Keane. John Shin says laughing emojis. Ross Murphy says laughing emojis too. Listen, we've got a new shirt sponsor. We're getting some money out of it. It'll probably go in the Glazers' pockets. Snapdragon, whoop-de-doo. Do you know what
cares?
I mean? I'm struggling to get too excited about it, to be honest with you.
Can you imagine being the sort of like football fan that when you saw that news last night, you're like, yes!
When you saw,
come on!
This is the best season since we won the double. Not only are we top of the spending league, we've also got new shirt sponsors as well. This is better than anything.
The real double.
This is better than 2008. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it'd be great if we go and spend 60 million quid on a load of new players, but we won't. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Gaz, where can people find you?
People can find me BBC Radio Manchester 6 till 7. We do a show called...
hang on a minute. No, stop. Sorry, I've just been informed. We've got another story.
I did think then.
That's me getting ahead of myself. I thought we were done, but we're not. We've got another one. Please, sorry, Gaz. Continue.
The rat race continues. Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are staying in the race. So Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani and Sir Jim Ratcliffe are each prepared to play the long game regarding their respective wish to buy Manchester United. The process is now approaching 10 months since the Glazers...
I'm losing interest. I want the Glazers gone. We want new owners in. Personally, I think both bids are deeply flawed. Ratcliffe keeping the Glazers on is flawed. I'm not a big fan of being owned by a state. It's not great either way you look at it. I'll wait and see what happens. And when we know there's definitive news, then we can get excited or disappointed or whatever. At the minute, it's just same old, same old. It's 1 minute the Glazers aren't selling, then they are. Then it's going to be Ratcliffe. Then it's going to be Sheikh Jassim. Then it's going to be neither. Then it might be a hedge fund. Then it might have to wait till after the World Cup because the World Cup's in America and the Glazers want to see if there's going to be an American billionaire that wants to come in after he's got excited by football in the World Cup. We just never hear the end of it, do we? And it's like nothing has changed in those 10 months since we had strategic alternatives as a statement by the Glazers. So, forgive me for being a bit deflated with it all.
All I'll say is one thing that has really depressed me is since 2007 for myself personally. Obviously, I know United fans since 2005, since the takeover. I've obviously been speaking out the Glazers, but me, in 2007, I was about 12, 13 years old, so I started understanding what was really going on. And bloody hell, I got put in detention in school for sticking up Love United 8 Glazer stickers around my high school and stuff like that. I've been so against them for all this time, and now I feel like after all these years, we're now in a position where genuinely, me speaking from a personal standpoint, you're all allowed your own opinion, all three potential options, Glazer staying, Ratcliffe coming in, Sheikh Jassim coming in, are all utterly depressing to me. To the point where I am numb to it. I can't even get angry about it anymore. I'm just numb to it. Yeah. It actually saddens me when I think about it.
I agree, and it saddens me when I hear things like that when you use a young kid putting Love United 8 Glazers, because I'm lucky enough, I've seen United win untold riches. I know you've sort of seen the back end of that as well, but I think younger fans, you're coming through, you've seen City winning everything, you've seen these clubs in a mess, you've seen the ownership's just a shambles. You know, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? But we've been through dark times with Manchester United, and hopefully, as they say, it's always darkest before the dawn.
Oh, hopefully. But look, it's one of those things as well, isn't it, where, look, it's fair enough saying, oh, I think I'd prefer this owner. That's fine. You're all warranted your own opinion. What I don't get is people who are so massively for one owner. This guy comes in, he saves Man United. If you think either of the options, coming into Man United instantly makes the club better run, make better signings, win trophies, you've got another thing coming. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you've got to be a little bit deluded. Yeah. And you've almost got to be a little bit brainwashed, I think. Nothing guarantees success. A lot more needs to change than just the ownership.
It does, and hopefully it will sooner rather than later. Sheik Game has been a member of the Academy for 13 months, says, best show on this channel. Love the show as always. Up the Paddock, smiley emoji. Love you as well, Sheik Game. Thanks for your support. Gaz, this time we are going to wrap up.
Sure?
Where can people find you?
Before I go into my embarrassing plug, are you sure?
I'm positive, yeah.
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah, is he sure?
Production team.
Is he done?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. Right, you can catch us on BBC Radio Manchester. Go and get the BBC Sounds app. I'm on 6 till 7, Total Sport. It's a show all about sport in Greater Manchester. We always want you involved as well. I also host the Devil's Advocate podcast from the BBC, which you can get on BBC Sounds with Joe McGrath, who comes on the channel all the time as well.
Joe McGrath. Yeah, I was on it the other day as well. It's a proper Stretford Paddock. Loving, innit? I love to see that.
I love it.
Make sure you go and check out Gaz on the socials as well. You know where to find him. You know where to find me. If you're not doing, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back in the morning with the news. That's been Gaz Drinkwater. I've been Jay Motty. This has been Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.